Life seemed blissful as I settled into married life with my loving husband, unaware of the dark secrets that lurked behind closed doors. I vividly remember the day we exchanged vows, promising to love and cherish each other for the rest of our lives. Our wedding was a grand affair, filled with laughter, joy, and the promise of a bright future. I believed I had found my soulmate, my partner in life, and the one person I could trust unconditionally. In the early days of our marriage, we reveled in the honeymoon phase, cherishing every moment together. Our home became a sanctuary of love and tranquility, adorned with memories captured in photographs that lined the walls. Friends and family envied the seemingly perfect life we led, unaware of the storm that brewed beneath the surface. Little did I know that amidst the happiness and contentment, a betrayal was taking shape. The cracks in our seemingly solid foundation were invisible to my naive eyes. We shared smiles, whispered sweet nothings, and embraced the illusion of a fairy tale romance. But as time passed, subtle signs began to emerge. Late-night phone calls, secretive conversations, and the occasional distance in my husband's eyes. I brushed them off as temporary stresses, believing our love would triumph over any obstacles. Yet beneath my optimistic facade, a nagging feeling of unease crept into my heart. There were moments when I caught my husband stealing glances at my stepmother, a flicker of something indescribable passing between them. It was a spark that threatened to ignite my deepest fears. I tried to dismiss the thought, convincing myself that it was nothing more than paranoia. After all, how could my husband betray me with my own stepmother? It seemed unthinkable, unfathomable, but the nagging doubts refused to relent, and I found myself paying closer attention to their interactions. In hindsight, there were signs I should have recognized earlier. The way they would exchange quick glances when they thought no one was watching, the moments of heightened intimacy that seemed inappropriate. My stepmother, always the picture of grace and poise, would occasionally slip, revealing a glimpse of something more sinister lurking beneath her polished exterior. Little did I know that the idyllic life I had carefully built was about to crumble, leaving me to pick up the shattered pieces of my broken heart. The journey into the darkness had only just begun, and the realization of my husband's infidelity with my stepmother would irrevocably change the course of my life. This chapter was a time of blissful ignorance, a prelude to the storm that would soon engulf me. As the story unfolds, the depth of the betrayal and the magnitude of the ensuing chaos become apparent. I had no inkling of the treacherous path I was about to tread, but fate had other plans, and my journey towards healing and redemption had just begun. During a family gathering, I noticed a peculiar chemistry between my husband and my stepmother. It sparked a tiny flame of doubt within me, but I brushed it off as mere coincidence. The air crackled with anticipation as we gathered at a cozy family retreat, celebrating a milestone in our lives. Laughter echoed through the halls, mingling with the aroma of delicious food and the warmth of shared memories. It was a joyous occasion, or so it seemed at first. They stood a little too close, their bodies subtly leaning towards each other, their eyes locked in an intensity that sent a chill down my spine. A knot formed in the pit of my stomach, a flicker of suspicion that dared to challenge the image of a blissful union I had cherished. I watched discreetly, my senses heightened as they exchanged subtle gestures and secret smile. There was an unspoken language between them, a connection that transcended the boundaries of familial ties. It was a dance of seduction hidden beneath the veneer of innocence. My mind raced, searching for explanations that would dismiss the unsettling observations. Perhaps it was an innocent camaraderie, a shared sense of humor that had inadvertently sparked their connection. I clung to the hope that it was nothing more than a figment of my imagination, a manifestation of my own insecurities. But deep down, a voice whispered, warning me of the undeniable truth. The flame of doubt flickered, casting shadows over my once solid foundation. The questions multiplied, feeding my growing unease. How deep did their connection truly run? Was there something they were hiding from me? And most importantly, was my marriage built upon a fragile web of lies? I yearned for reassurance, for the security of a love unmarred by deceit. I sought solace in the memories of our shared moments, desperately clinging to the belief that the bond we had forged was unbreakable. Yet, the seed of doubt had taken root, and its tendrils began to weave through the fabric of my thoughts, unraveling the trust I had placed so unwaveringly in my husband. This chapter marked the awakening of a slumbering suspicion within me, the moment when I could no longer ignore the unsettling chemistry between my husband and stepmother. It was a chance encounter that would shape the trajectory of my life, propelling me into a journey of discovery, heartbreak, and ultimately resilience. Little did I know that this encounter was just the tip of the iceberg, a harbinger of the storm that was about to descend upon my world. One fateful day, I stumbled upon undeniable evidence that shattered my world. I discovered my husband's infidelity with none other than my own stepmother. The day started like any other, the sun casting its gentle rays upon a world that was about to be irrevocably changed. Unbeknownst to me, destiny had chosen this moment to reveal its cruel hand. I had grown weary of the growing unease that had plagued me since the family gathering. Determined to put my suspicions to rest, I embarked on a search for truth, a journey that would either dispel my fears or confirm my worst nightmares. The whisper of intuition guided me as I delved into the shadows, piecing together fragments of a puzzle I never wanted to solve. I followed a trail of breadcrumbs, digital footprints left behind by clandestine conversations and secret rendezvous. As I scrolled through the messages, the world around me seemed to fade into oblivion. Words leapt off the screen, etching themselves onto the canvas of my shattered heart. The truth stared back at me, mocking my innocence, revealing a reality I had refused to acknowledge. The evidence was undeniable. A damning collection of stolen moments and stolen affections. The texts spoke of love, desire, and a betrayal that cut deeper than any physical wound. My husband, the man I had vowed to trust implicitly, had strayed into the arms of my stepmother, the woman who had played a dual role in my life. Time stood still as a tsunami of emotions crashed over me. Disbelief, shock, and agony intertwined in a tempest that threatened to drown me. The illusions I had woven so delicately shattered, leaving me exposed to the harsh truth I had denied for far too long: betrayal. The word reverberated through my mind, echoing through the corridors of my soul. It was a betrayal that cut deeper than the sharpest knife, tearing at the very fabric of my being. The foundation of trust upon which our marriage stood had crumbled, leaving behind a chasm that seemed impossible to bridge. In that moment, the world I once knew ceased to exist. I was thrust into a reality where trust was a luxury I could no longer afford, where the love I had cherished was tainted by the stain of infidelity. This chapter marked the seismic shift in my perception, the awakening to a truth I had desperately tried to ignore. It was a painful realization that forced me to confront the shattered remnants of my heart and make choices that would determine the trajectory of my future. The journey of healing and self-discovery had just begun, and the path ahead was treacherous and uncertain. With a mixture of rage, pain, and disbelief, I confronted my husband, demanding answers for his betrayal. His guilt-ridden confession confirmed my worst fears. The room crackled with tension as I stood before my husband, his eyes betraying a flicker of unease. The evidence lay between us, a palpable weight that threatened to suffocate any remnants of the love we had once shared. It was time to confront the truth, to demand accountability for the shattered fragments of our marriage. My voice trembled, a blend of anguish and fury as I confronted him with the irrefutable proof of his infidelity. The walls seemed to close in around us, the air thick with emotions that hung between us like an invisible barrier. His face, once a canvas of familiarity and comfort, contorted with guilt. His voice faltered, as if searching for words that could absolve him of his transgressions. But no words could undo the pain he had inflicted upon me, upon us. The room echoed with the questions that tore through my soul. How could he betray our sacred vows? How could he indulge in a forbidden love with the woman who had played a maternal role in my life? The sanctuary we had built, the promises we had built, the promises we had made, now lay shattered at our feet. His eyes met mine, a mix of remorse and shame. The truth spilled from his lips, bitter and painful. He confessed to the affair, revealing the moments of weakness, the allure of forbidden desire that had clouded his judgment. He painted a picture of remorse, promising that it meant nothing, that his heart still belonged to me. But the damage was irreparable. I stood there, my heart torn between the love I once held and the agony of the present moment. Betrayal had become a palpable entity, an intruder in our once happy home. The foundations of our marriage quivered, threatening to crumble beneath the weight of deception. In that moment, I made a choice to preserve my dignity, my self-worth, and my future. The flames of anger flickered within me, fueling a strength I didn't know I possessed. I gathered the shattered pieces of my heart and resolved to walk away from the wreckage, knowing that I deserved more than the hollow promises he offered. This chapter marked the climax of our confrontation, the pivotal moment when the truth could no longer be denied or concealed. It was a time of reckoning, where the veil of illusion was ripped away, leaving us exposed to the raw reality of our broken relationship. In the wake of this confrontation, I embarked on a journey of healing, seeking solace in the power of self-redemption and the pursuit of a life free from the shackles of betrayal. Unable to contain my anguish, I confronted my stepmother, revealing the dark secret that haunted our past, the abuse I endured as a child at her hands. The memories of my childhood, once cloaked in shadows, now resurfaced with a vengeance. As I grappled with the betrayal of my husband, another sinister figure from my past demanded attention. The woman who had played a dual role in my life, my stepmother, with a mixture of trepidation and newfound strength. I confronted her, determined to expose the truth that lay buried beneath the surface. The pain of her betrayal and the scars she had inflicted upon me as a child fueled a fire within, propelling me forward with unwavering resolve. In the dimly lit room, I faced her, her presence a chilling reminder of the torment I had endured under her care. The words tumbled forth, recounting the years of abuse, the physical and emotional scars she had inflicted upon me. I stripped away the facade of respectability that she had maintained for so long, revealing the true nature of the woman who had posed as a mother figure in my life. As the truth poured forth, her eyes widened, a mix of shock, guilt, and perhaps even a touch of defiance. She attempted to dismiss my accusations, to undermine the validity of my painful memories. But I stood firm, armed with the courage born of survival, refusing to allow her to rewrite the narrative of my past. In that moment, the power dynamics shifted. The abuser became the accused, the oppressor forced to face the consequences of her action. The revelation left her exposed, vulnerable, and stripped of the illusion of control she had wielded for far too long. This chapter marked a turning point, a cathartic release of the darkness that had haunted me for years. It was a reclaiming of my voice, a refusal to let her continue to hold sway over my life. By unmasking the stepmonster, I took a critical step towards healing and breaking free from the shackles of the past. But little did I know that this confrontation would set off a chain of events, further escalating the turmoil in my life. The battle lines had been drawn, and the war for my freedom was far from over. The stepmother, who had once abused me, would now reveal the depths of her malice in a relentless campaign to torment and destroy me. As the dust settled from the confrontation with my stepmother, I found myself ensnared in a web of torment and fear. She unleashed a reign of terror upon me, resorting to increasingly malicious acts to destabilize my life and sanity. The battle lines had been drawn, and my stepmother revealed the extent of her malevolence. No longer stepped content with the shadows, she stepped into the light, orchestrating a relentless campaign to dismantle my life piece by piece. This chapter began with a series of unsettling incidents, calculated to instill fear and doubt within me. The once familiar safety of my home became a fortress of anxiety, each creak of the floorboards or flicker of the magnified by the haunting presence of my stepmother. It started with subtle intrusions. An object moved ever so slightly, a whisper of a presence in the darkest corners of my vision. The gaslighting was insidious, making me question my own sanity, planting seeds of doubt that threatened to consume me. But her actions quickly escalated, leaving no room for ambiguity. She would break into my home when I was away, leaving behind a trail of destruction, a shattered vase, overturned furniture, the remnants of a violated sanctuary. Each act a deliberate assault on my peace of mind, a reminder that I was powerless to protect myself from her torment. The attacks extended beyond the confines of my home. She would puncture the tires of my car, leaving me stranded and vulnerable. The once reliable mode of transportation became a symbol of her relentless pursuit, a constant reminder that nowhere was safe. Financial manipulation became another weapon in her arsenal. Money mysteriously vanished from my accounts, leaving me struggling to make ends meet. She aimed to destabilize not just my emotional well-being, but also my ability to stand on my own 2 feet. As the reign of terror continued, I realized that I could not face this battle alone. I sought the support of friends, family, and legal counsel, determined to protect myself and reclaim my life from her clutches. The fight for justice became paramount as we documented each incident, gathering evidence to expose her reign of terror. This chapter was a period of extreme vulnerability, a time when I faced the relentless onslaught of my stepmother's wrath. It was a chapter characterized by fear, resilience, and the indomitable spirit to rise above the torment inflicted upon me. Little did I know that the pursuit of justice would lead to unexpected revelations and a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness that consumed my life. In the midst of my battle against my stepmother's reign of terror, unexpected allies emerged from the shadows, offering support and a glimmer of hope in the darkest of times. It began with a sense of isolation, as if the weight of my stepmother's relentless attacks threatened to crush my spirit. But just when despair threatened to consume me, a ray of light pierced through the darkness. Friends, previously unseen but not unfelt, rallied around me, extending their unwavering support. They became my pillars of strength, offering a listening ear, a shoulder to lean on, and practical assistance to navigate the challenges that lay before me. Their presence was a testament to the power of human connection, the resilience of the human spirit. They provided a sanctuary in which I could express my fears, share my vulnerabilities, and draw courage from their unwavering belief in my journey towards justice and healing. Legal professionals, armed with expertise and an unwavering commitment to justice, stepped forward to help navigate the intricate labyrinth of legal battles. They became my advocates, crafting a strategy to expose my stepmother's malicious actions and seek retribution for the pain she had inflicted upon me. Together, we amassed a wealth of evidence, meticulously documenting each incident and building a compelling case against my stepmother. The scales of justice, once tipped heavily against me, began to shift as the weight of truth and undeniable proof came to light. As the legal proceedings unfolded, a newfound sense of empowerment coursed through my veins. The allies by my side, armed with their unwavering support and legal expertise, bolstered my resolve. The battle was far from over, but together we fought for justice, for the restoration of peace and stability that had been ripped away from me. This chapter was a chapter of solidarity and resilience. It highlighted the power of collective strength, the indomitable spirit that arises when individuals unite against a common adversary. It served as a reminder that even in the darkest of times, allies can emerge from unexpected places, breathing life into the embers of hope and fueling the fire of determination. As I forged ahead, I knew that I was not alone in this fight. With my allies by my side, I could face the challenges ahead, knowing that the pursuit of justice and healing was not just my burden to bear, but a shared journey towards reclaiming my life from the clutches of my stepmother's malicious actions. Now it marked a turning point in my battle against my stepmother's reign of terror. It was a chapter of triumph and closure, as the culmination of our efforts led to a breakthrough that would forever change the course of my life. As the legal proceedings gained momentum, the weight of evidence became undeniable. The truth, carefully pieced together, stood tall like an unshakable fortress. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a victory over the darkness that had plagued my life for far too long. In the courtroom, I faced my stepmother with unwavering resolve. Her attempts to manipulate the truth, to downplay her actions, crumbled under the weight of evidence and the testimony of witnesses who had seen her malevolence firsthand. The truth, laid bare in the courtroom, became the cornerstone upon which justice was built. The gavel fell, delivering a verdict that held my stepmother accountable for her malicious action. The judgment was a resounding victory, validating the pain I had endured and signaling an end to her reign of terror. With the legal battle concluded, a sense of closure washed over me. It was a bittersweet victory, tinged with the scars of the past, but also a beacon of hope for the future. The chains that had bound me for so long were finally shattered, and I could take my first steps towards reclaiming my life and rebuilding what had been broken. The chapter was not only about legal triumph, but also about personal growth and transformation. It was a time of self-discovery as I unearthed the strength within me that had lain dormant for far too long. I realized that I was more than a victim. I was a survivor, a warrior who had weathered the storm and emerged on the other side. As I closed the chapter on my stepmother's reign of terror, a profound sense of liberation washed over me. The weight of her actions no longer burdened my spirit, and I could envision a future free from the shackles of the past. It was a triumph of the human spirit, a testament to the power of resilience and the unyielding pursuit of justice. This chapter marked a significant milestone in my journey, one that brought a sense of closure to a painful chapter in my life. It set the stage for the chapters that would follow as I continued to rebuild, heal, and embrace the newfound freedom that came with triumphing over adversity. Now it was a time of introspection and rebuilding as I embarked on a journey to reclaim my life and heal the wounds inflicted by my stepmother's actions. In the aftermath of the legal victory and the closure it brought, I found myself standing at a crossroads. The wreckage of my past lay scattered around me, and I knew that rebuilding would require not only physical effort, but also emotional resilience. The chapter began with a deep dive into self-reflection. I took the time to understand the impact my experiences had on my identity, my relationships, and my perception of the world. It was an opportunity to confront the pain, process the trauma, and find the strength to move forward. Therapy became an essential part of my healing journey. With the support of a skilled therapist, I delved into the depths of my emotions, unraveling the tangled threads that had been woven throughout my life. It was a safe space to grieve, to express anger and sadness, and to gradually rebuild a sense of self-worth and self-love that had been eroded over time. As I worked on healing my inner wounds, I also focused on rebuilding the external aspects of my life. I sought solace in creating a sanctuary within my home, a place that reflected my newfound sense of peace and security. Each step towards physical renovation and redecoration was a symbol of reclaiming control over my environment and creating a space that nourished my soul. Reconnecting with loved ones became another vital aspect of rebuilding. I leaned on the support of friends and family who had stood by me during the darkest moments, cherishing their unwavering presence. Rebuilding trust in relationships, both romantic and platonic, took time and patience. I learned to be vulnerable, to communicate my needs, and to foster healthy connections that would help me grow and thrive. This chapter was a chapter of rebuilding resilience and rediscovering joy. It was a time of cultivating new passions and interests, exploring avenues that brought fulfillment and a sense of purpose. I immersed myself in activities that nourished my soul, whether it was pursuing a long-lost hobby, traveling to new places, or engaging in acts of self-care and self-compassion. In the midst of rebuilding, there were moments of doubt and setback, but I persevered, drawing strength from the lessons learned, the support of my allies, and the resilience that had carried me thus far. Each step forward, no matter how small, represented a victory over the darkness that had threatened to consume me. It represented a pivotal stage in my journey, a time of rebuilding shattered pieces, reclaiming my identity, and rediscovering the beauty that lies in the process of healing. It laid the foundation for the chapters that followed as I continued to embrace the transformative power of resilience and nurture a future filled with hope and possibility. Now it marked the dawn of a new beginning, as I emerged from the depths of despair and embarked on a journey of personal growth, empowerment, and embracing the possibilities that lay before me. With the wounds of the past gradually healing and a renewed sense of self-worth, I approached life with a newfound resilience and determination. The chapter began with a sense of liberation as I shed the weight of my past and embraced the freedom to craft my own future. I took the lessons learned from my experiences and channeled them into personal growth. I embarked on a path of self-discovery, seeking out opportunities for self-improvement and expanding my horizons. Whether through education, workshops, or exploring new passions, I actively pursued avenues that allowed me to grow intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. This was a time of empowerment and stepping into my own power. I no longer allowed myself to be defined by the trauma I had endured or the actions of others. Instead, I reclaimed my narrative, embracing my strength and resilience as defining qualities that shaped who I had become. In this chapter, I also focused on setting new goals and aspirations. I dared to dream and to envision a future that was no longer clouded by the darkness of the past. Whether it was pursuing a new career, starting a business, or embarking on personal adventures, I embraced the excitement of the unknown and the limitless potential that lay ahead. This period of renewal was not without its challenges. The scars of the past occasionally resurfaced, serving as poignant reminders of the journey I had traveled, but armed with the tools of self-care, resilience, and a support system that had been cultivated throughout my healing journey, I navigated these obstacles with grace and perseverance. As I moved through this chapter, I also became an advocate for others who had experienced similar traumas. I channeled my newfound strength and resilience into supporting and empowering survivors, raising awareness about the issue of abuse and working towards societal change. By lending my voice to the cause, I hoped to create a ripple effect of healing and transformation. It represented a beacon of hope, a testament to the human capacity for growth and the power of resilience. It was a chapter of embracing the beauty of life's uncertainties and finding solace in the knowledge that even in the face of adversity, there is always the potential for a fresh start. With each step forward, I reveled in the joy of rediscovering myself, reclaiming my voice, and embracing the infinite possibilities that lay before me. This chapter was not just the turning of a page, it was the opening of a new chapter, one filled with hope, purpose, and a deep appreciation for the strength that had carried me through the darkest of times.